Now for our story. On this clear, sunny morning, from the windows of a house at Malibu Beach outside of Los Angeles, one could see the waves rolling up lazily, leaving a frothy scallop of white foam at the water's edge. Children played happily in the shallow water on the safe side of the breakers, and a shaggy collie dog yelped in excitement as he plunged in futile pursuit of seagulls wheeling overhead. Yes, it was a happy, cheerful scene outside on the beach, a scene of healthy joy and living. But within this particular house, the drama of interwoven lives continued its inevitable course. Lisa Fenner had called for Mrs. Kingsley, and a few minutes later the hospital had been telephoned. Paul Cromwell arrived with Max, his chauffeur, from their house a few doors away. And shortly afterward, Mrs. Kingsley stood at the doorway and watched the big black limousine drive off. Paul Cromwell and Max in the front seat, Lisa and Kit in the back, enclosed in the privacy provided by the glass partition which separated the driver's compartment from the rear of the car.
How do you feel, Lisa? Are you all right?
Oh, yes. Yes, thank you, Kit.
Frightened?
No. I'm glad you're coming along, though.
Oh, but of course I'd come along.
Yes, I know. But I especially wanted to talk to you. There are a few things we have to discuss.
Well, what do you mean, Lisa?
Well, Kit, ever since we talked the other day, I've been thinking about what you said.
Oh, you said quite a few things that day.
But the important thing was, Kit, do you really want my child?
Are you asking me if I want to adopt your baby?
You know perfectly well that's what I mean. You told me if you had a child, it would make a great difference. It would help you solve the problem of your marriage.
Yes, Lisa?
I want to know, Kit, have you changed your mind in the meantime?
No, I haven't changed my mind.
When you do, you would like to have my baby.
Well, that hadn't occurred to me. I know you understand how I feel, to have lost my child.
But if you had a child, my child, would you go away then, go back to Wakefield?
That would solve my problem. Yes.
I remember your saying, too bad our situations weren't reversed, so that we'd each have what we wanted in the first place.
Well, it does seem rather ironic.
Yes. Because the way things are now, we'll each have something, but not the thing we wanted most.
Exactly, Lisa.
Oh, I've thought about it, Kit, and it seems quite clear to me now. I want this baby so much, but to be alone, I just don't think it would be fair to the child. I'd have to work. I couldn't give it the care it should have. You understand?
I think you're being very wise, Lisa. As you say, it wouldn't be fair to the child.
You'd give it a good home, I'm sure of that. You have money. It would have all the opportunities. But, Kit, do you want a child? I mean, aside from what it might mean to your marriage and all that.
Yes, Lisa. I do. Very much.
But your husband, are you sure he... Oh, I know so little about him.
Oh, you'd like Bill, Lisa. He's a fine person. Really much nicer than I am. You needn't worry about the sort of environment your child would have. You've no idea what a family would mean to Bill. He'd be a wonderful father.
I see.
Oh, I realize how you feel, Lisa. It's an extremely difficult decision to make.
I've been thinking about it constantly, Kit, ever since we talked.
Well, do you think you've made up your mind?
No, as you say, it's not easy to have to choose between your child and the person you love. To know that if you keep your baby, you'll lose that person. To know that if you keep the child, you can't give it the sort of life it deserves.
Yes, of course. Looking at it emotionally, it is very difficult. But from a logical viewpoint, I should think the conclusion would be obvious.
Oh, it probably should be, but I can't. I just don't know. It's such a strange feeling. I'm afraid I can't talk about it anymore now.
No, don't. Not now. I'm sure we understand each other, Lisa.
Yes, Kit. Yes.
Lisa Fenner leaned her head back, closed her eyes. They were silent during the rest of the drive to the hospital. As she got into the elevator, Lisa gave Paul a shy little smile. He leaned toward her and patted her shoulder awkwardly. Then the door closed. Kit and Paul had walked back through the lobby to the waiting room. Sometime later...
Cigarette?
No, thank you.
Hang it, I spoke too soon. I haven't one left.
You're very nervous, aren't you, Paul?
Can't understand why they don't tell us something. But at least let us know if everything's going properly.
But, Paul, it hasn't been so very long.
Not long. Why, it's been hours.
About 5 hours altogether. But that's still not a long time.
Well, heaven knows you're calm enough for both of us. How can you...
Of course I'm calm, Paul. There's no reason to get excited. Everything's going very well, I'm sure. Lisa will be all right.
Then why doesn't the doctor...
Issue hourly bulletins? Because he's too busy, darling. Now, just relax, why don't you?
Poor little Lisa, she's so dependent on me. When I think of the other day, the way she forced herself to ask me how I'd feel toward her if you were gone.
You told me about that, Paul. You didn't lie to her.
No, I didn't lie to her exactly, but I...
Oh, for heaven's sake, all this self-abasement, this sudden guilt. Aren't you being rather dishonest with yourself?
Dishonest?
Yes, I mean that. You don't quite like to face the truth. You've been worried about this situation. You didn't want any trouble.
That's true, Kit. But even so,
You don't want to marry Lisa, do you?
I told you how I felt about that. You know how it hinges on your feelings. What you do.
Then don't you see that this solves everything? Lisa will have financial security.
But, of course. I'll see to that.
All right, then. Have the courage of your convictions.
Yes. Yes, you're right, Kit. We won't talk about it anymore.
Besides, we don't know yet how it's going to turn out. That depends on Lisa in the final analysis.
And Lisa may... What was Lisa telling you in the car as we drove in?
Oh, we discussed a few things.
About all this?
Yes. We clarified how we each feel. I think we understand each other quite well now.
Kit, what do you really think Lisa will do?
I honestly can't tell you, Paul. I don't dare even attempt to guess. We can only...
Dr. Gordon.
Well, it's all over, Mr. Cromwell.
Is Lisa all right?
Yes, Mrs. Fenner came through beautifully.
But the child, Doctor, is it...
It's a boy. A very fine little boy.
A boy?
You're sure she's quite all right?
Yes, indeed. You needn't worry at all. That youngster's quite a little roughneck. 7 pounds, 8 ounces. Probably turn out to be a football hero.
Well, Dr. Gordon, you've been wonderful. We're very grateful.
Thank you. But I don't deserve much credit. Besides, Mrs. Fenner is a very plucky young woman.
Yes, I know.
Mrs. Meade, I'm glad to see you looking so well. Everything all right? But Kit didn't answer. Didn't hear the doctor's words. There was a strange look of exultation on her face. She was thinking, remembering.
A boy. A fine boy. That's what I wanted to have heard him say about my child. The one I lost. It was a girl. But now I can go back to Wakefield with a son. Lisa will give him to me. I know she will. I remember the dream I had that night. The night I fell. We were walking down the street near the square, Bill and I. He was so proud, so happy. Everyone looked at us. I said, "The child makes a great difference, doesn't he, Bill?" And he said, "Yes."
Kit, didn't you hear? Dr. Gordon says you're looking very well.
Oh, I'm sorry, Doctor. I didn't hear you. Yes, I feel really fine. As a matter of fact, I've never felt so well in my life.
Although Lisa hadn't given a definite answer, Kit was exultant, confident of her success. You may be in for a terrible disappointment, Kit. Lisa may still decide that she's unable to relinquish her child to you.